Jail.
Hi, babe.
Hi, babe.
I'm Jamie.
And I'm Jessica,
And welcome to A Court of Books and Babes.
a podcast where two best friends review, react to, and rate our, and soon to be your, favorite fantasy books. This is our second episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 1's out.
Yeah, and this one we've only had to try twice.
We're improving.
A significant improvement from 7 times, 8 times.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah. Yeah, the trajectory is... It's moving up, guys. I like it. You might also notice, for those of you who are joining us on YouTube, or I think you can watch on Spotify, but we'll have to see if I can figure that out. And I'm rustling papers so that those who are joining us audio only can hear. We've abandoned the ghosts who live just 3 inches to the side of our faces. Instead of reading off of our computers where we had our notes just out of frame, we've decided to try and read actual paper. We're going analog. We're going old school. We're going back to our roots. Mm-hmm. We're millennials, but we're elder millennials. Yeah. So it's really on brand for us.
This is more our vibe.
We'll see how it goes. We might try it out for a few episodes, and then if it's weird, we'll try something else. But yeah, it's okay. We're here for the journey, right, folks? Before we get going, what are you reading?
I'm reading A War of Two Queens. And I think of the title. It's the 4th one in the Blood and Ash series. And it could be my favorite so far. Yes. I really like it.
You were saying that the 4th and the 5th one is already out, and the 6th one is coming,
I think, January 2026.
So I just read the first one, and I will say that it is now in my top 3 romantasy books of all time.
There you have it, folks.
I love it. I'm trying, I don't want to give away any spoilers, but I'll just say that the main male character is he's occupying a lot of my brain space these days.
He's living rent free.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Hawk over here.
Hawk's great.
He's fabulous. And then in non-romantasy, I'm actually reading for the first time 1984.
Oh, a classic.
You've read it, right?
I think I read it in school.
That's where the phrase "Big Brother" comes from.
Isn't it about like what this author thought the world would be like in 1984? And it's like, I thought there was like flying cars in it. Maybe I haven't read it. Maybe I've just heard so much about it.
Like no flying cars. Party McFly.
Am I confusing this with Back to the Future? No. I'm not. But someone told me that, I thought.
Okay, you know what? I'm only halfway through. Maybe the flying cars.
Definitely not.
The flying cars are big. It could be like an SJM where at the last 100 pages, flying cars everywhere. So far, no flying cars. But yes, it's like, that's where the term Big Brother comes from, and there's law police and stuff. It's interesting. I will say I don't love the main character, and I'm waiting to see if that is on purpose or if maybe he and I are just not meant to be.
Does he have wings? Does he walk around shirtless?
He doesn't, so this is why we don't like it.
Does he call you darling?
No.
Questionable of us then.
All right, side note, Jamie is sick today, but unlike Papa Archeron, who just can't shut up about it, our girl's tough, and she's here, and she's chipper, and she's ready to record for your listening and viewing pleasure. So if you hear a little... that's what's going on here. So just enjoy the vocal fry. Some people like that.
What is that? ASM?
Yes, ASMR.
Oh yes.
Or
get your fill.
As this is we're doing a very niche section of the internet. Janie sick ASMR. It's gonna be. I want to know who has that in their Google history. Yeah. Better, Al?
Yeah. The other one, you guys look ghastly. Or ghost.
Yeah.
Ghostly.
Ghostly.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Sally's like, yeah, you
Appreciate the candor, but take it easy, Gen Z. It is time to talk lore, lust, and loose morals as we unpack adventures, escape to new worlds, and, of course, swoon over our best book boyfriends.
Before we dive into today's show, listen to this important disclaimer. We'll be focusing on chapters 7 through 11 in today's episode, but may have spoilers from the entire Maasverse.
This podcast has all of our favorite R words: romance, racy, risque, and, of course,
RHYSAND.
as such, it is rated R. Listen accordingly.
So let's get this dinner party started. We kick off every episode with Babes Between the Lines,
Where we read what's written, obsess over what isn't,
and dig past the dialogue so you don't miss any mistakes, motives, or magic. All right, here we go. Chapter 7. So we left off with Feyre heading to quite possibly the most awkward dinner ever, with magical creatures who might kill her, and her flight instincts are definitely in full gear. Feyre sits down at the dinner table while she continues plotting her escape like a true heroine with a death wish and a backup plan. Lucian is the perfect balance to our golden-haired mystery fae. We all know who that is, but we're not saying his name yet. But he's just comic relief. He represents chaos, truth, and starts positioning himself as a bit of a wild card. And the fact that he's constantly challenging Feyre, instant respect. Lucian immediately became one of my favorite characters. I mean, at least to this point. We've been introduced to so few, good or funny or even redeemable characters to this point. Lucian's got the energy of a guy who will mock you to your face, rolls their eyes at everything you say, but will secretly shank someone for you.
I love it.
He's a chaotic neutral in a leather tunic. I don't know if it's just me, but did you initially picture his eye as Professor Moody from Harry Potter?
Yes. Yes, right in the background. And also, I was like, what can this eye see? Like,
Through doors, through windows?
through clothing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, is this a sexy eye? What's happening?
Sexy eye.
And does it look like an actual, like it's golden or copper?
I think it was gold.
And so it's like the eye in it. Is it like the, I don't want to say, well, it's whatever, we can. Is it like the Jurian ring where the eye is just like,
Swinging around.
I don't think so. I think, well, I don't, like, I think
is
it's
it like a
from
real eye or is it metal?
I think it's metal from the description of it.
But is there an eyeball?
No,
Or is it like an eye patch?
no, I think that the eye is gone. Like the eyeball is no longer
It's
present.
gone.
It has left the chat. I think it's metal, but like that's why it made me think of Mad Eye Moody. Although I guess you're right, that is more like
A Jurian.
right.
thing.
But I did sort of envision that where it almost like had a life of its own, especially knowing that it can see things.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay. Finally, Feyre learns her captor's name, Tamlin, lovingly referred to in this court as Tam Bam. And just let me say, he's giving peak predator energy. Tamlin isn't just walking into the room. He's stalking, he's glowering, he's prowling. Feyre literally describes him with all the language you'd use for something wild and untamable.
Appropriate for someone who is a shapeshifter and turns into like a beast.
Yes. And look, he might be trying to play polite high fae host, but the vibe is 100% apex predator.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's clearly annoyed, maybe at Feyre, maybe at himself, maybe at the entire curse situation, but the tension in the air is less romantic hero and more I might snap at any moment.
I also think it's his default. It's just like irritated.
Yeah.
Like he just seems like, he'd wake up and just be like in a low-key bad mood.
I mean,
Jimmy, like, suddenly like Hamlet relatable.
right, yeah. Okay. Another little, except it's kind of major, tidbit we get in chapter 7 is that Feyre learns there is a blight that has cursed the spring court. The reason? No one explains what it is, but it's bad, okay? Feyre's response to this vague and ominous story is, cool story, but when can I leave?
And let's not sleep on the symbolism of spring. The court is blooming, beautiful, but cursed. Like Feyre's soul. Or this podcast, how it felt at the beginning. It's all about appearances. Floral exteriors covering deep decay. And if that's not romantic foreshadowing, I don't know what is. Allie's tuberculosis.
Oh, I want to read that one too. Yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna finish. Allie's also reading 1984.
I am.
Allie.
Oh, you are supposed to be dedicated to ACOTAR.
I started.
She started Ruin?
Yes.
I said Ruin moves fast because it's
Yeah.
like really actiony.
It's
Yes.
story
it is.
and
It's new-
adventure driven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to know what's happened. I think I'm more invested now. Because I think I liked. I know I liked book 2, but I feel like.
I feel like you're really gonna like book 5.
That's what I said.
I feel like
I
book
mean,
2, it
who
was just like so much like building of the like RHYSAND and Feyre that I was like, okay, I get it. They love each other. Let's kiss and move on.
There is like a part of book 3, and I'm like a bit like. Right?
Oh.
You know, I was a bit like,
Yes. Yes. Comment.
I mean, you get it.
Yeah.
It's like, what do they call it? HAE. This is a new term I heard, which stands for happily ever after.
Oh.
HEA.
Yeah. HEA. Yeah. Anyways, that. It was on the Goodreads, and I was like, I don't get what this. Like, I kept reading these reviews, and it's like, oh, it's so like AGA, and I'm
Right. That was like when I first saw like
what is HEA?
right when I first saw
I know, I like that.
SMC and MMC. I was like,
You know,
right. It took me. I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, if you saw LMAO, do you not say LMAO in your head?
No.
So
I don't read like. I don't
phonetically
abbreviations.
pronounce
No.
every. I'm not like in a business meeting. We're talking about ROI, and I'm like, yeah, the Roy. Like,
No, I actually do say that in my head.
Lol.
Yeah, or lol. Yeah,
Raffle.
I do say lol.
there you go.
That's the
Okay.
only one. That's the only one I say.
Oh, yeah.
Only because I think like the young employees at my work, they're like, lol. I'm like, lol. I'm cool.
She knows that.
I'm him.
The 20-year-old term.
I got Riz. I got Brooke. Phil was like, what's risen mean? I'm like, excellent question. It's like flirting with someone. Right?
Exactly. It's like you got game.
Yeah. I'm like, interesting.
What's it short for? You've got charisma. That's what it's short for. Yeah, charisma.
Charisma.
Yes.
That makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
I thought it was like reputation or like you got like swagger.
Like game, yeah, but
Yeah,
charisma, there's
charisma.
like an added
Riz.
layer there that I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway,
Now we know.
This whole dinner scene is actually the moment Feyre begins to shift from prey to player. She's clocking all of it while starting to wonder in the back of her mind if maybe this murder mansion isn't so bad. She realizes she can gather intel and use observation as a weapon. Our girl is feral, starving, traumatized, and tired, but still reading her gent's emotional cues like a therapist. And babes, that's major foreshadowing for her growth later on. While a girl takes in the opulent displays of wealth and excess, she can't help but compare it to the nothingness she left behind. The shack. The mattress. Trick one. I thought one of the most important points in this chapter is when Tamlin reveals he's magically taking care of her family.
Yeah.
Ensuring they're safe, well-fed, and blissfully believing she's gone to live with a wealthy aunt. Because why not?
I wish we all had wealthy aunts. They just show up one day.
Yeah.
Solvable.
For Feyre, who has built her entire identity around being her family's provider and protector, this lands both like a gift and a gut punch. On one hand, it's the first time in years she can breathe without worrying if her father and sisters will starve. But on the other hand, it strips her of purpose. If they no longer need her, then who is she?
Oh, that's such a good observation. Like, this was not just a deathbed promise that she was upholding, but it became like her raison d'etre. Like, it was
I
like,
was just gonna say that. It's a power move from Tamlin, sure, but it's also the first crack in Feyre's armor, forcing her to imagine a life that isn't defined by constant sacrifice. For now. Tamlin scores a point here, and I think we can give him that.
yeah, agree.
Begrudgingly. She needs sustenance to make her great escape. Her stubborn streak is on full display, and Tam Bam has a quick fix for that. Something subtle but so telling, he uses his power to magically hold her in her chair. She goes to leave and he just locks her into place with invisible restraints that aren't violent, not dramatic, but just enough pressure to make her stay. It's a quiet little dominance move disguised as a courtesy, and it tells us a lot about this male's intentions.
Yeah.
He's not going to force her, but he's going to have control of the situation.
Yeah.
It's the kind of move that on first read you're like, okay, but on a reread, we were waving our red flags. Tamlin doesn't yell, he doesn't beg, he binds.
Sir. Voluntary bondage only, please.
And then Lucian instantly diffuses the situation with snark. He's sarcastic, mocking, one-eyed, and fabulous. He needles Feyre, he needles Tamlin, and he's basically the one making sure this dinner doesn't become a growl fest.
He's basically carrying the entertainment value of this entire sprint court meal.
Yes. Tamlin tries to explain things in his non-explaining way. He hints about the curse and the blight and how people are stuck wearing masks and how humans are totally safe. Feyre's like, cool, but you still kidnapped me, and refuses to give him an inch of trust.
But here's the thing. Under all of her prickliness, like, she's noticing things. The food is endless and magical. The manner is stunning. Tamlin, despite being, like, terrifying, is trying awkwardly and badly, but trying to reassure her. You can see, again, those little cracks are starting to form in her armor, even though, like, she would rather eat dirt than admit it.
Yeah. She makes it through dinner, or rather is dismissed, and heads to bed. Early the next morning, we get some peaceful reflections from Feyre, thinking about her family, what she'd be doing, and that her sisters would likely be thrilled with their newfound comforts.
Can I just say that when you said she was dismissed, all I saw in my head was Miranda Priestley being like, that's all.
And I feel like, damn.
And Feyre, that's all.
His alter ego now is no longer just the Kool-Aid man in a fur coat. It's now Miranda Priestley, the head of both.
She also starts considering that maybe he's not the worst person to ever cross her path. We withhold judgment. When you read the first book, what were you thinking of Tamlin as Feyre starts to perceive him differently?
I think I was withholding judgment still. Like, there was, in the same way that I think Feyre is suspicious, like, something else is going on here. I felt the same way. Like, obviously, things are not as they seem, and so I wasn't totally sold one way or another.
Yeah.
Harkening back to episode 1, I will say, when Alice referred to Tamlin as master, that was a big red flag for me. But then, again, to your point here, when we hear that he has taken care, or at least said he, because, you know, at this point,
We actually don't know.
we don't know, right?
Yeah.
Which is interesting, because Feyre kind of just, like, takes him at that. She's like, okay, like, I believe you. When we learned that he is taking care of her family, I was like, oh, well, all right, maybe. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
were you, no, you, like, from the word go, you were like, nah, not about it.
No. No, I never liked him. Okay, so after Alice gets caught in the snare, Feyre refuses flowers in her hair, and she faces the thought of her entire mortal life spent here. She takes Alice's suggestion and goes for a wander in the manor, specifically the gardens. As the silence in the hall begins to get under her skin, she notices a painting, and for a brief moment, we get the artist's perspective. I love this for her.
Yeah, I agree. It's nice seeing this side of her more and more.
But this reprieve is short and sweet. Quote, I could have stared at it for hours, and the countless paintings along this hall alone could have occupied my day. But garden, comma, plans, with a capital P. I just want to say that it is capitalized in the book, and she is still hella focused on her goal of getting the fuck out of Dodge.
Interesting. Is it? It's like actually capitalized.
Yes, plans, P, capital. At least, what are we saying? She's like goal-driven? Goal-oriented?
Yes, yeah, to say the least.
As she begins to conceive how she might make Alice her escape accomplice, quote, you. Oh, sir, you are too charming. Oh, my God. Fuck.
I swear, every time I look somewhere else, something goes wrong.
the baby.
I'm like looking here, and then I look down. It's like,
The baby just like
The camera's off. The screensaver's gone. Stuff
great.
else happening. Okay. As she begins to conceive how she might make Alice her escape accomplice, quote, "You. Oh, sir. Stop. You are so charming." Like, has this male ever interacted with a woman before? Startling and baring your teeth at someone is not the way to win them over. That being said, Feyre actually takes notice of him during this interaction, where it's like handsome, beauty, strong jaw, golden tan skin are playing on repeat in her mind.
But she's not blind, okay?
She's not ready to let down her walls quite yet. He is still enemy with a capital E. After refusing a tour and giving him the gears about how she ended up here for breaking a rule she didn't even know existed, it's finally revealed. The Blight. Da 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 da.
Can we like call this a big reveal? Because I feel like it was like, I'll tell you this secret, but you also can't know why or how. And don't ask any more questions about it.
Seriously.
Yeah.
We wrap this chapter thinking, sure, there's a curse. Sure, everyone's in costume. But she isn't starving, and isn't that a step up? Lucian's banter, on point. Tamlin's broody stares, frequent. And Feyre's trust issues, still fully present. Our heroine is fighting for her life with grace, sarcasm, and an excellent internal monologue. We love to see it.
Absolutely, we do.
Chapter 8. Feyre is still trying to get her bearings. She's wandering the manor, taking in the beauty, but not letting herself actually enjoy it. Classic survival mode. Everything is too pretty, too quiet, too suspicious.
Sounds like our epitaph.
She's in this mansion surrounded by an enchantment and wildflowers and food that replenishes itself, and she's just here thinking, how do I use this window to escape? The trauma is alive and well.
The trauma is traumaing.
Yes. And then she runs into Tamlin. Again. Which means it's time for the awkward conversation in a very pretty hallway. He's still trying to make small talk, and Feyre is still giving him the bare minimum. She's not impressed by the high fae charm offensive. Our girl is still on the defense. Tamlin drops a little more about the whole I brought you here so you wouldn't die situation, but as usual, it's vague and half explained. He says she's free to roam the grounds, but also warns her not to go beyond them, which sounds like totally safe and, not ominous at all.
The vibes are very like, I built you this magical garden. Now, never leave. Like, sir, blink twice if you're emotionally stunted and cursed. Literally.
But we start to see these little cracks in Feyre's armor again when Tamlin mentions her family. She does soften for a second. She doesn't admit it out loud, but you can tell she's worried. She's still tethered to them, even from behind the fae borders. Then he shows her the gardens, and they're next level stunning. Feyre, who has spent years in gray and dirt and hunger, walks into this kaleidoscope of color and warmth, and for a moment she feels something amazing. You can tell her artist brain is coming back online. It's subtle, but it matters. Because this is the first time you see her almost breathe. Not as a hunter or as a caretaker, but as a human who feels beauty, and it hits different for her. The chapter closes with Tamlin doing his quiet, broody, lingering thing, and Feyre clearly not knowing how to handle any of it. There's tension, there's awkward flirting, there's possibly a shared vibe over the roses.
So the question is this the beginning of trust? Or is it just a prettier version of captivity? Because I don't know if I trust a man who offers you a garden and a carefully worded threat.
Same, but also, did it feel a little swoony? Kind of borderline.
It kind of reminds me of like if you're in a relationship with like a shitty guy and you guys fight, and then he goes and gets you like a gift, like apologize. Like he'll be like kind of nasty, but then I'll sprinkle in these little like
Love bomb.
look, I did all these great things. Your family's taken care of, but also don't go anywhere. That's awesome.
You may never leave.
Yes.
Then I will have tea.
Relax. Like some honey?
No, we don't have honey.
She ain't got Papa Archer on over here, folks.
I have a strong feeling a dragon would choose me.
I'm the Dragonfly! Allie, when you finally read Throne of Glass, I am convinced that Allie...
Throne of Glass, fourth wing.
No, I know, but I'm saying when she finally reads
I'm like,
Throne of
wrong
Glass,
book.
Jamie is like Kalena. Selena. I have no idea. The whole fandom just.
I say
rocketed.
Selena.
I know you do. I say Kalina. Anyways,
Where's the
it's a C.
We shall see.
But Celine is a C.
Colleen.
We have established that fantasy
Kalina.
names are.
To be fair, the English language, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not perfect.
Great.
Okay.
Chapter 9. Our favorite feisty heroine decides that it's time she and Lucian get on better speaking terms. A much better pick, I will say.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
After learning from Alice that he will be out on border patrol today, alone, Feyre quickly makes her way to the stables, hoping to accost our sly, say, fox when, da-da-da, Mr. Buzzkill himself, Tamlin, interrupts her plans. He offers to take her for a ride on the grounds, but Feyre shoots him down. As she hurries away from the somewhat disgruntled High Lord, she can't help but wonder at his thin attempts at kindness and accommodation.
Thin being the key word. I think this is really interesting because later in the story, when Feyre meets RHYSAND for the first time, even though she's not romantically interested in him, right from the jump, there's attraction. I mean, he licks her face. So
Not at their first meeting, but yes. I think they're third.
Is it third or second?
No, second is when he comes.
Okay, but under the mountain is
Yes,
the second.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. She describes him as the most beautiful man she's ever seen. It's fascinating that even though Tamlin becomes our initial love interest in this saga, that the chemistry between them isn't immediate.
Yeah, I agree. I think that these two being Tamlin and Feyre, are very diametrically opposed. And it's both of their contexts which are driving them forward and, as we'll see, towards one another at this point in the story. Feyre reaches the stables, noting that all the stable hands are wearing horse masks. This is rough. Like, out of all the animals that you could be stuck with a mask, like, horse would not be in my top 50. Like, that's brutal. Okay, question. What animal are you picking? You have to wear an animal mask for the next 50 years. What are you choosing?
I think butterfly.
Ooh. I love it. Very Elaine of you, not to.
Oh, I changed my mind.
To offend.
I changed my mind.
I would be a fire-breathing dragon. Yes, you would. I like fox, actually. I think Lucian is like, I love the like.
You could pull off a fox. You're tricksy.
I like, it just makes me think of like a, what do they call that? A cat eye upper bluff.
Instant facelift. Yeah, I like it.
As promised, Lucian is at the stables. He grins down at Feyre, white teeth gleaming. I've said it before. I will say it again. I love this version of Lucian. I feel like he gets watered down. We've talked about this before. We will talk about it again. He gets watered down throughout the rest of the series to date. And in this first book, he still is the fox.
He's like main character energy in this book.
Absolutely he is.
Like, he is so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, I adore him.
Yeah, 100%. Lucian and Feyre head out with Feyre praying, and Tamlin doesn't decide to saddle up and join them. As they begin to make their way through the woods, Feyre wonders if Lucian's metal eye is capable of seeing more than a regular eye, even wondering if it can see through the back of his head. She was also curious
Those two favorites.
what this eye is doing. Lucian notices Feyre doesn't opt to hunt any of the passing squirrels or other small game that they pass. When he comments on it, she replies sharply with, quote, "You seem to have enough food on your table that I don't need to add to it, especially when there's always plenty left over." The resentment towards the Fae creeps its way into much of these initial conversations between Feyre and Lucian or Feyre and Tamlin. We can imagine the rage that she must feel every time she sits down at that overflowing dining table, thinking of her family, her community, literally starving back home. Lucian, perhaps wisely, doesn't reply as they continue to travel through the blossoming forest. Once again, Feyre fights against the part of her brain that notices the beauty around her, the flowers and trees and soft sunlight, repeatedly telling herself, quote, "not useful." Girl chooses to ignore the flowers, but can't help but gawk at some high, fey, rippling biceps. I mean, like, same. But this feels
selective. But like, jokes aside, this is sad. Like, there have been times in my life, and I feel like probably in yours, where you're so overwhelmed with just hard stuff that beauty feels irrelevant. It's hard to notice a sunset or a gorgeous flower or that your hair looks really great that morning when like life just feels so heavy. And we can really see this with Feyre. We learned from their conversation that Lucian is Tamlin's emissary, but that in addition to his courtly duties, he is helping manage border patrol. As we learn, it used to be Andres's job. Upon hearing this, Feyre is Jim, that reaction. She's immediately racked with guilt. While circumstances made our girl a badass hunter, this is not her true nature, and she feels no amount of joy at having had to kill. Perhaps sensing that Feyre is struggling internally with this bit of information, Lucian guides the conversation into a sharp left turn, asking Feyre, quote, when are you going to start trying to persuade me to besiege Tamlin to find a way to free you from the treaty's rules? Again, I love this. This is Lucian as the fox. He noticed that Feyre showed up at the stables just as he was about to leave. He isn't falling for her tight-lipped disguise as a somewhat simple human girl. He knows there's more going on here, and specifically more going on with her. He knows there are other motives at play here that Feyre is trying to wield. And I love that he calls her out on it. Honestly, I think Lucian is a brat tamer, and I'm here for it.
Brat tamer.
Feyre is tempted to try and play the fool, but quickly realizes it's futile. Lucian advises her that there are no loopholes to the treaty. There is no workaround. Unless she wants to try and go it alone in Prythian, she is stuck in the Spring Court. Grappling with this, but trying not to show how shaken she is, Feyre asks where the rest of the Spring Court is. Lucian quickly asks her how she knows about the court. Aha! Our girl has gotten under his skin with this one. Feyre comments in an offhand sort of way that servants chatter, saying, quote, isn't that why you made them wear the bird masks to that party? Lucian reveals that, in fact, everyone chose their own masks to wear to the party, choosing different animals to honor Tamlin's shape-shifting gift. Sensing a crack in Lucian's armor, Feyre asks what exactly happened, and Lucian replies, quote, something was sent from the shitholes of hell. Immediately, he seems afraid of what he has just revealed, looking around and cursing, telling Feyre he shouldn't have said that. Worrying aloud, what if it got back to her?
Not so tight-lipped now, are we, Lucian? She knows there's a her involved.
And she doesn't let the moment slip by. She pounces on that bit of information, demanding who is this mysterious her. But Lucian, skin blanched with fear, refuses to reveal anymore. Such a tease. As Feyre ponders who this notorious big bad could be, she wonders if she might be a high lady who rules over the 7 high lords of Prythian. It wasn't until I reread the book that I realized this is our first mention of a high lady in the series. Thankfully, it will be our last. Feyre asks Lucian what kind of powers he might have, querying if he too can shapeshift like Tamlin. When Lucian says no, that only Tamlin has that ability, Feyre asks about Andres and his appearance as a wolf. This is where we learn that Tamlin can shift other people using his power as well. I am convinced that this is going to play a huge role in future books. This seems like a huge power, especially when we think back to Throne of Glass and what a big deal is made out of Lysandra and her shapeshifting ability, to the point that shapeshifters
Were killed.
to like the tribe to become extinct because, and really when you think about it, it is an incredible power, and he can shift other people, and it's essentially dropped in like this book, and then there's a shift that he does in book 3, and then besides that it's essentially like not mentioned again. I'm convinced it has to come back in later books, because why would it be such a big deal? And then in this one, like, SJM's a smart cookie. I think she's on to something.
Yeah, he's like bibbity bobbity booing people. You're a coachman and you're a footman.
He's half the fairy godmother, half Oprah. Just like, you get to be a deer, you get to be a mouse. Lucian also divulges that the High Fae don't have specific powers like the lesser fairies do.
Instead, he says they are simply, quote, born to rule. Okay, I mean same, but unsurprisingly, this rubs Feyre the wrong way, and not in the fun wrong way. Feeling emboldened by her distaste, Feyre asks Lucian where he got his scar. He gives a non-answer.
Shocker.
Honestly, like the response to all of Feyre's questions. She's like, could someone just give me like a straight answer for once? But does let Feyre know that Tamlin arranged for its replacement. He also lets slip that there is a lesser fairy called the Surreal. Quote, old and wicked and not worth the danger, who will answer whatever question Feyre would ask of it. Okay, I am pretty sure that when Fairy Google died, it was the first time I cried in the series. Did you cry? No?
I was like sad. I didn't cry.
Oh, I cried. It was like my first, tears in the book. What was
Is he wicked though?
No, he's not.
I know. I'm like, he's not even mean.
That's why I'm
He's
like,
like mysterious.
yes.
I mean, like every other single friggin' person in this court.
And he talks, like, he says to her at some point, I think it's when he's dying, like, he says, thank you for conquering your fear. Like, to have to live a life, I want to know all the things of the surreal. Like, to live a life where you're cursed to look so terrifying and hideous, and people are just petrified of you, but you're a gift. You're a walking gift. Like, you know what I mean? And so he says that to her, thank you for conquering your fear. Something to that effect. And suddenly, Lucian is on guard, and Feyre feels the hairs on her arm pick up. As she goes to draw her bow, Lucian roughly admonishes her to put it down, warning her, quote, don't react. No matter what you feel or see, don't react, don't look, just stare ahead. Chapter 10. Feyre can see nothing, but feels cool terror wash over her as she hears a deadly voice begin to whisper in her mind. Its voice says, quote, I will grind your bones between my claws. I will drink your marrow. I will feast on your flesh. I am what you fear. I am what you dread. Look at me. Look at me. Fighting every hunter's instinct roaring within her to look, to assess, to run. Feyre ignores the menacing voice, thinking instead of, quote, a starry, unclouded night sky. Audio listeners, we're throwing her papers, we're dropping the mic. We're adding it to the night tally. The invisible monster circles them, demanding, look at me. After what I'm sure felt like an eternity, eventually the terror and chill that enveloped them finally disappears. As Lucian's posture begins to relax, Feyre demands to know what manner of creature had just haunted them, and Lucian answers that it is a creature that cannot be hunted or killed, called the Bog, and which is not supposed to be in their lands. He tells her that when it is looked at, when it is acknowledged, that is when it becomes real. Okay, I just want to say, I saw a movie like this when I was a kid, and it haunts me to this day. I think it was called Fear of the Dark, and it was this idea that if you're afraid of something, like if you're a little kid and you're lying there and you're like, well, I think there's a boogeyman under my bed, then there's a boogeyman under your bed. And as a, like, I'm saying I was a child, I was probably like 12 when I saw this, it begins.
Momo.
I mean, they're on payroll now, so they have to have their say. What are you afraid of, Momo?
She's like, nothing, bitch.
So, shut up and get to work. Get me that fancy beast money. It takes over an hour for Feyre to finally stop shivering. When her fear finally starts to settle, she continues in her quest to learn as much as possible from Lucian, asking him if he's a soldier, if he fought in the war. Lucian indicates, with some mild defense, that he isn't old enough to have fought in the war. And moreover, while he may not be a soldier, he knows how to use his weapons and even offers to teach Feyre. She neither accepts nor declines his offer, her turn to kind of play it cool. And they finish their ride in a sort of tenuous, uncertain truce. Not friendship, but certainly, perhaps, no longer outright enemies.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong though. Did Tamlin fight in the war though?
Wasn't he
Because
young?
RHYSAND did, right?
Yes, Reese did. But I think that Tamlin was saying that he was alive, but he was too young to fight, I think.
We need a timeline. Like, it is a bit, like, the timeline is a bit
It's hard. It's hard to...
back and forth.
Yeah, 100%. Our story moves to the dining room where Tamlin waits, one lone claw circling his goblet.
It's like cruel.
Yeah. Immediately, Lucian seems on the defensive, blurting out that quote, "We went on a hunt." I think it's fascinating how we see Lucian really change around Tamlin. When he's with Feyre, I see him much more as that fox character, sharp-witted, sharp-tongued, quick on his feet. But around Tamlin, he seems unsure and insecure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm going to say it. Tamlin is a frenemy.
Oh, the worst.
Oh,
Frenemies. Lucian tells Tamlin they encountered the bog, and Tamlin's fork crumples in his hand at the knowledge, demanding to know exactly where before storming from the room. As you pointed out, he does not walk. He glowers, he prowls, or he storms.
Yes. He's a bit dramatic.
Yeah, I get it. Feyre asks where Tamlin is going, and Lucian informs her that he's going to hunt the bog. Confused, Feyre tries to clarify, saying, quote, "I thought it couldn't be killed." Lucian says, "Tam can." I know that this is because Tamlin is so powerful and ferocious and so very special. But I feel like the line, "Tam can," is so indicative of the Spring Court ideology that the High Fae, and specifically Tamlin, are this special breed and exceptions are made for them.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. It's like, oh, everyone's getting locked under the mountain. No one's allowed to leave. Tam can. Nobody is supposed to leave the property because it's so dangerous. Tam can. It drives me crazy.
Later that evening, Feyre watches the garden from her bedroom, waiting for Tamlin's return. Quote, "Ridiculous, utterly ridiculous to watch for his return." It's deep in the night before Feyre sees movement in the distant hedges. Not Tamlin, not a fairy, her father.
Oh.
Chapter 11.
When I first read that, I was like, oh my god, her dad has actually come.
Pop heart Alas.
I did think so.
I did too. I was like, wow, he finally is doing the right thing.
Okay, but then
Okay.
when you learn it's Nesta, like I've hung on to that fact when we get to book 5, and you're
What?
like, she's so irredeemable and difficult, and you're just like, oh my god, this girl. Like I hung on to the fact that no, but Nesta did try.
Oh, that she tried.
She tries
Yes,
to come
yes,
back.
yeah.
She goes searching for the wall and for the hole in the wall, and she's the only one. Her dad doesn't try, Elaine doesn't try. Freaking Isaac Hale is like, sorry, moving on to the next one. Thank you, next.
Actually try, though.
I don't know.
She like wanders around for an hour and it's like, Pharaoh would do this to us. Like, that's terrifying.
tracks.
Yeah.
No, I
Nesta goes over and is like, Elaine, can you believe that Pharaoh did this?
Oh, it's like, I'm sorry, I'm planting violets. I'm a little busy right now. Also, so hungry.
Not anymore.
Oh, that's right. No, they're fine. Yeah, the wealthy ant. Not out of nowhere. That Nesta did not fall for. I'm looking back and forth rapidly. Listeners, with suspicion in my eye. Chapter 11. Hardly pausing to dress herself, Feyre rushes down the trellis outside her window to the grounds below, her mind frantically reeling, wondering how her, quote, crippled, broken father had come. As her father beckons hurriedly from the hedges, she rushes towards him, equally joyful and confused at his savior attempt. His limp, while present, seems somehow diminished. Just as Feyre is mere feet from her father and the open gate, a clawed hand encircles her arm. Tamlin. And at his presence, our girl immediately believes she's going to die. She's instantly begging him, begging to go to her father, but Tamlin only admonishes her to look again. When Feyre looks towards where her father was, she now sees only a pale bow and a quiver of arrows, which then suddenly transforms into a large pack, and then transforms into her sisters, sobbing for her help. As she stares in mixed horror and confusion and fear, Tamlin lays into her, again, not in the fun way, saying, quote, weren't you warned to keep your wits about you, that your human senses would betray you? I have to say,
Sir.
this feels so unfair. Anytime
Agreed.
in fiction where there is a spell or a creature or something that makes it so that you can't trust your own senses, I think it's completely unfair to judge the victim for whatever they might do. And to Feyre's credit, she doesn't back down from Tim. Quote, "Can you blame me? My crippled father appears beneath my window and you think I'm not going to run to him?" Like, yeah, girl, absolutely. Tamlin channels his inner Noah, notebook throwback, asking Feyre what it is that she wants. What do you want? What do you want? I don't know. Go home. And Feyre says she wants to go home to uphold the vow she made to her mother to protect her family. As they make their way back to the mansion, Tamlin tells her that in staying at the Spring Court, she is fulfilling her vow, that her family is better taken care of, better than they have ever been, that they are fed and comfortable. This is a pivotal moment for Feyre, where she describes a sense of feeling freed. As the series progresses, we'll learn that this feeling, freedom, just might be Feyre's driving force, and at the very least is certainly a core value for her. Freedom, autonomy, and I'll dare say, even the power that those give her, are critical to her sense of self and well-being. I know that in later books, Tamlin's going to catch a lot of flack infringing upon Feyre's freedom, but in this moment, I can really see how she begins to fall for him. Knowingly or not, she is ascribing her freedom from the heaviest anchor that has dragged her around for the last few years.
Oh, Jessica's disappointed in herself now.
I'm pulling a
She's
chain.
growling.
She's glowering.
I'm stalking. I'm
There's the vulgar
growling.
gesture.
Where's the vulgar gesture? Have my bowels turned watery? At this moment, knowingly or not, she is ascribing her freedom from the heaviest anchor that she has dragged around for the last few years to Tamlin. Their conversation shifts, and Feyre learns Tamlin grew up training in his father's war bands, and that ruling the Spring Court was not supposed to have become his responsibility.
I think this also lends itself to a bond between these two. At heart, neither of them want to be a warrior or a hunter, but circumstances force their hand. There's a recognition of these untenable circumstances that they've both found one another in, and that is compelling.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Feyre asks with trepidation what manner of creature had lured her from her room. Tamlin tells her it's called a puka, and that it and other predatory fairies used to be monitored or kept to hiding, but that the blight has since made it so, quote, things are different now. Undersell of the century. Over the next few days, Feyre begins to grow a sort of subdued acceptance of her circumstances. She gets some more quality time with Lucian, joining him on patrols while Tamlin hunts the bog day and night. One evening at dinner, as Tamlin once again leaves the manor to pursue the creature, Feyre notices the anxiety written over every line of Lucian's body. He explains that Tamlin gets into moods and that he is adamant in refusing any sort of help. When we compare this to the inner circle that we see in the Night Court, the contrast is so stark. Even though RHYSAND is determined to protect his friends and willing to sacrifice himself at every turn, literally every turn, the man's
That
like,
stage.
yeah, the man's like, do I need to die? I'm happy to die. Here I am, ready to die. There's still a good deal of support and collaboration between the Court of Dreams. The Spring Court, not so much. Feyre can't help but remark on Tamlin's brutality as he hunts the bog, and Lucian replies with possibly one of my favorite quotes from the book. Quote, "You don't hold on to power by being everyone's friend, and among the fairies, lesser and high fae alike, a firm hand is needed. We're too powerful and too bored with immortality to be checked by anything else."
Okay, so yes, this is bad. But also, like, RHYSAND rules the Night Court that way. So I think there's, like, some truth to that, and not just, like, as it badly relates to Tam. I feel like it paints him in a bad
Are
light.
you taking sides against our High Lord of the Night Court?
No.
Off with her head.
I'm saying there's some parallel.
No, you're right. Yeah.
There.
It's interesting, and I think that this idea of how...
I mean, not in Valaris, he doesn't.
But you're right. Like, I think, yeah, the idea of how would immortality change your worldview and how you interact with your peers and people you don't see as your peers. Like, I think it's an interesting notion. How does it change things? How does it change how you approach life?
That's true.
Later that night, we're transported into Feyre's dream, where she once again is in that cold, wintry forest, drawing the bow to shoot Andres. Behind her, she feels a shadow, watching, observing. Full stop. Hello, sir. We talked about this in episode 1, that this was the first mention of Rhys, and on a reread, screaming and kicking my feet. Feyre describes not wanting to shoot, but having no control, and as she lets her arrow fly, she sees a high fae fall to the snow rather than a wolf, and her hands are coated in blood, holding Andros's skin in sticky fingers. She jolts awake. Just a dream.
Okay, so I didn't think about this, and maybe you did. But like when she said she felt like she had no control when she shot him, is that like RHYSAND kind of like demoting her because he knows that needs to happen in order for Tamlin to come and free them all?
Literally exactly what I was thinking. Oh, I know. Which then we're like,
Wily little things.
I know, but I'm like, does that make us feel not so hot about him? I mean, I feel like
No.
the man could like
Do no wrong.
Sure, he was. Jim's like,
Yeah.
and moving on.
No, he's perfect.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's an interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if that would get looped back to in future stories.
All right, babes, it's that time again for hot takes, theories, and thirsts, aka where we stop pretending to be objective readers and fully spiral over every emotionally repressed high fae and every sentence that might secretly be foreshadowing a soul bond. Chapters 7 through 11 gave us some serious content: awkward dinners, magical estates, secret trauma, passive-aggressive banter, and oh yeah, a beast attack in a rose garden. Casual.
Just
Wednesday night.
So let's get started. Was that moment giving genuine tension, or were we just looking too closely at a man with a jawline and a sword? Tell me honestly, who were you thirsting over in these chapters? Was it Lucian?
Yes. Well, honestly, if I got taken to Prithian and I had to pick between Tamlin and Lucian right now, it's absolutely Lucian.
Tamlin's idea of a compliment is, quote, "Your hair is clean." I'm going to be honest here, and I feel like, well, my husband has said this to me, and I was fully, thanks, it was hair wash day. The most monumental day in my week, because, babes, you know, hair wash day also includes hair removal day, which also means I'm definitely using a lot of water.
Relatable.
Let's not lie to our listeners. Feyre is starting to notice the tension, the silence, the lingering stares. It's getting hot in this enchanted greenhouse of trauma.
Cute Nelly.
The way she describes Tamlin sometimes, it's like she hates him with her eyes closed and lips parted. Quote, "The sight of his naked chest distracted me enough that it took a moment to realize he wasn't entirely unarmed." Ma'am, you're not even pretending anymore.
And honestly, Lucian's sass is giving unexpected thirst trap energy. He's rude. He's scarred. He's emotionally unavailable. We're intrigued.
So now let's enter our gaslight, gatekeep, glamour era. The creature that attacked the estate, that wasn't a one-off. It's clearly tied to whatever's brewing under the surface, or the mountain. This whole stay in the house, don't ask question vibe is so sus.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that this isn't the last curious and creepy creature our heroine is going to encounter. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Any theories you heard about these to wrap this episode? I was going to say wrap the chapter, but
I don't think so. I think we talked about it already, that there's the first mention of Rhys, and I like your question of, did he play a role, an intentional role, using his Daemati powers, and that he, like, overrode Farah's
there you were.
Farah's free will, and, like, had her shoot the wolf. That's probably the most interesting one, I would say, at this point.
Because he could still use his Damani powers, because when she hears the music playing later in this book, like, that's him.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I would love to see that be addressed in further books.
I don't like him less.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
He can make me shoot a wolf any day.
All right, then that's a wrap. We want to hear from you as we continue to build this little corner of our world and fall in love as we dive into fantastical worlds, fabulous folklore, and fine males and men. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe on YouTube at A Corn of Books and Babes Pod. And please take 5 minutes to rate and review our podcast on whatever platform you listen to, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, for sure. And share it with all the babes in your life.
Also, if you leave a 5-star review, we will read it on the pod. So, 5-star reviews
Only.
only.
She has spoken. Until next time,
Stay bookish, babes.